We start? Yeah. What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday. Got a nice little Fire and Ice fan faction game. Haven't done this for a little while, and we do have two Fire and Ice fan factions in the game. We've got Changelings and Goblins. Just getting into the auction. Changelings have been bid down a little bit, as they often are. We're on Fire and Ice map. No extra scoring in this one. And a very economic set of bonus tiles. All three that we're missing are the scoring tiles: big building, TP, and dwelling. So, wonderful snake. What's up? Welcome, guys. Yeah, we do have some strong factions in this game. I put Snow Shamans in first seed, and I actually am interested in playing them, but I don't think I can quite bid them yet. I've been bidding mostly on Goblins here. I might jump to Shamans pretty soon. I actually don't think this is a great setup for Changelings. You probably have to open like 2 TPs and 2 dwellings and then try to build out a bunch of dwellings in round 2. Maybe you're able to get Earth 1 down, but you're going to have a little bit of worker challenges. Gray and blue is an interesting combo. Like, I feel like the natural 2 are probably E5, D6. I'm kind of tempted to just jump to Shamans here. Like, potentially having changes on E5 is very annoying because you obviously I won't say obviously, most likely you want to start C4, E4 as green Shamans. But they're probably going to get a good bonus tile because most likely Propsectors take 6 coins. But Changelings, like, I mean, you probably just open with... Like, your problem is, look, you open with to D7, sure. But then you don't have anywhere to build your other... Like, I actually think they might not even go on D6, in which case, that's really good for Goblins. If they're not on D6. Because if they start... Say Changelings, for example, start G4 and, like, E5, or even God 2 of these next to each other, then at least they have ability to keep building, right? Otherwise, they're going to run into not having another gray. Because it goes... Where's the ordering? Here we go. It goes A, B, C, A, right? So after they place a red, the next one they got to place is another gray. And if they start D6, E5, then they don't have that as an option. The problem with Goblins is... They probably don't have 2 neighbors, as is common for black on this map. Like, if you want to start D5, you won't have a neighbor. Propsectors are probably fine. I mean, like, Shamans are definitely the weakest faction here, but I'm kind of tempted to just do it. Yeah, we're just gonna do it. This is not... There's no way this is the right value, but I don't care. So they're like 3 races in one. They have 3 colors, and they have to... so here, now you can see their board? It has 3 different colors on it, and so you have to always put the right structures on the right color terrain. Either it's naturally that terrain or you have to transform it to that terrain, and you always have to build the leftmost structure just like you do normally in Termiska. So, like, for example, their first dwelling is going to get placed on gray, their second dwelling is going to get placed on blue, and then unless they upgrade first, their next dwelling will have to be red, and then gray, and then blue, and then if they upgrade, the dwelling goes back into the right spot, and then they'll have to build that. So, for example, if their first action was to upgrade to gray, then they'd actually get a gray dwelling would come back, and they'd have to build another one. So actually, that's an option. I didn't even think about that. If they started on like G4, they could go like just have a gray open up first. It's interesting. Anyways, regardless, I don't think this is a great setup for them because there's not, like, what they can do really well is get a bunch of dwelling. Like, the dwelling rush is their natural opening, but with the dwelling round in round 2, that's pretty tough. And they can't grab Earth 1 that easily. They have to build 2 TPs before they can build a temple. because their first temple is the sea, which is for this in this game is red, but that means they got to get a red TP up first, which requires 2 TPs, and so like you can't really build a Earth 1 and then a bunch of dwellings all in round 1. So they could Earth 1 rush in round 1, but then they use all their workers. Like it's just they're much better off with like a round 1 dwelling, and also with no TP scoring or dwelling scoring in the game, they might just have a hard time getting points. All right, so we did get him going with his changelings on E5, which is a little annoying, but somewhat expected. And then he does go G4 over D6. Okay, so I still think my second dwelling goes on C4 here, because either the goblins come toward me. This is really nice for the goblins, though. They're the ones who are sort of making out like bandits with this. But we'll see where he puts his second dwelling. Because he doesn't have to put it on. Oh wow. A3, which I have done as black before. Just probably not what I would have expected. Interesting. I think I would have expected H8, but because with this setup, like goblins, the natural opening for goblins is double temple, even without the big building tile. They just have to take a worker's action. Worker's action might be quite contested here, actually. Because I could potentially be interested in opening double temple also as shamans. It's either that or if I can grab D6, that's pretty interesting also. Are prospectors interested in D5? I mean, generally, yes. They could certainly start on C3 and take temp ship if they wanted to. I actually think if I were prospectors here, I'd be considering F4, which is not something I normally think about as prospectors or as a brown faction. But their early ability to dig means they could have dug F5, and then you've got this nice little town stretch and you're connected. But no, he goes down here H4, which also makes sense because changelings are going to build these grays. So I think the question here for me is, do I want to go C4 feels like is like the more common choice, but maybe F3 is interesting. I mean, what's interesting is changelings probably don't want F3, so I don't have to terribly like changelings probably only use 2 or 3 spades over the course of the entire game, and they have their natural colors here enough for a town with these 2 gray hexes and this red hex and maybe even this blue hex. So like I'm not that worried about losing F3, so I don't need to start there. It would be just because it's the one place I can get a neighbor, or I can start C4, the assumption that someone's going to come to me, which they eventually are. There's no doubt about that. I think that feels better. Not to mention there's an outside chance I get D7, which would be cool. Do you get an upgrade before round 1 or after it? After it, unfortunately. So I think my first 2 upgrades here will be digs. So I can dig in round 3. What I would really like to try to do is get onto temp ship in round 3 so that I can have my upgraded digging but also still have a little bit of access. Or I guess get on temp ship before that, maybe in round 2, and move a little bit so that I've got spaces to actually dig. The more that I look at this, I definitely should have bid more on other factions, but that's okay. Green in general is pretty good on this map, and we're having fun. How good would D3 as a first dwelling be? I mean, yeah. Couldn't risk him going on D2. The one interesting thing actually about Changeling's position here is he doesn't figure out to connect. I mean, I guess he can go F5, G7 most likely. That's the other reason Prospectors on F4 would have been so interesting. If Prospectors F4 and they take F5, this Changeling dwelling is screwed. How are Shamans balance-wise? They're definitely weaker. Yeah, I'd agree with Snake's idea here. Okay, so interesting. So Prospectors took worker power. So this is, I would consider probably like worst case scenario for what I was looking at. Now I do have a decent chance at double dig here. So I think I should just take temp ship and push for double dig. Yeah. I was thinking about like a water 2. I guess I could still water 2 if I wanted to for a spade, but I don't think I can pass on this. And we'll just upgrade and try to get a bunch of leech. And the other thing is if goblins don't open with single spade on D6, and good, now I got an upgrade, so I'm going to get double dig, then I can take D6 myself, which would be nice. We'll see what the goblins do. You think they're the weakest F&I faction? Yeah, it's either them or Dragon Lords, probably. He did go D6. Did he just hard dig that? Oh no, he had the bonus tile. Okay. So that's entirely okay. I guess now the question becomes, do I double dig D7? Or do I just double dig A5, G6? I still think it's A5, G6. And there's a chance Prospectors take D7, but that's okay. The only thing about G6 actually is I hadn't really thought about this. I'm probably going to lose H6. So I wonder with D7. No, there's no way D7 is right now. Right? Yeah, I feel like getting more dwellings down has to be the right answer. And we'll see what... It'll be interesting to see what Changelings do. Yeah, Changelings are I'll admit I was a little sad to see them put in the game. I don't like them very much. I don't like either of the variable factions. I put in the chat at the beginning that I asked everyone to not put in KOE or Geos. But I felt like I couldn't do that with 3 factions. Felt a little strong. And then, of course, we get Changelings, so... So we'll see. We'll see if they take H6 this round. Obviously, my hope is that they don't, and maybe they go for some upgrades, and then I can steal it. I guess not that H6 is, like, that important for me, now that we look at it, because unless I also get H5, it doesn't really matter. Prospectors nabbed Earth 1. In your opinion, variables were a mistake in general? I 100% agree with that, actually. I don't think it works. Yeah, the ice factions are great. Conceptually, and I think all of the executions actually are pretty good. I love Ice Maidens, as frequent followers of this channel are well aware. And then... Fire factions, are mostly okay. There's some balance issues, I think, with some of them, but like Acolytes are a great faction. Yeah, I mean, I guess Shapeshifters are okay. They're the one variable faction that's okay because they can't just constantly build on all kinds of different colors. All right, so there's the H5. So it does look like he's just going for the Dwelling Rush. I guess he's got 4 now, so he could still. All right, I think I'm going to hold on my favor tile choice here. I think I was thinking briefly about Water 2, but I think that my best choice is just Earth 2. Because this game is short on workers, and Snow Shamans are a digging faction. And I want to be able to dig some stuff in round 3, maybe even in round 2. So I think that's going to be the play. Selkies? Yeah, Selkies, they can build on the river if it's in between 2 of their own ice hexes. That's their main thing. And when they do that, it costs an extra worker, but it gives 2 points. Which makes it very easy for them to form multiple towns. Oh, okay, there we got an upgrade from the Changelings. Yeah, so it looks like he's going to upgrade these 2. Now here's an interesting choice. I could take Priest. And it's not like I really need to keep enough for Double Dig. I don't love burning down that quite that low, though. Especially since Shaman's First Temple produces 4 power for whatever unclear reason. Like, if I knew I was getting First Priest of Water, I would do it. But I think just taking Earth 2 is the better call here. I mean, or honestly, you could even make a case for Earth 1, but I don't think that's the right move. Even with only 1 scoring bonus tile. I mean, none of these factions are particularly culty, so if I take Water 2, I could probably lean pretty culty here. And maybe that's a good idea. But I just feel like the extra workers are going to be worth it. You think I like early Cult Priest more than the average player? I think you're right. They're so good. Problem with Water 2 is it really needs to enable you to get 2, like both, like round 1 and the round 2 cult reward, and the round 2 cult reward both is bad and I won't get it. So I really have a hard time believing that that's the right move. So we're just gonna go Earth 2. Oh wait, I clicked Earth 1. Okay, I guess I'm going Earth 1. What? That was literally a misclick. Okay. Pay attention better, Matt. Well, I guess I can use this 4 power to take more workers to dig with. Or something like that. Oh, man. It may end up being the right call in this game. I don't feel terrible about it because I was kind of on the fence anyways, but I do think Earth 2 was better. I guess the good news with this is now I don't feel like I need to build another temple until round 4. It's not the right call. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right, but I don't think it's like a disaster, is my point. All right, well, let's take 7 coins because that's always good. Exchange track. So yeah, H6 is like officially not worth it. What actually might end up being more worth it is F4. And I might consider doing a triple dig on that in round 3 if I don't get D7. I could also potentially take D7 this round. The thing is, if I was going to take Earth 1, I should have not built the dwellings until I did it. That was why that was silly. But, whatever. Yeah, this is a very interesting Goblins opening. Other than, I mean, the D6 was expected, if unfortunate, expected. And the Changelings opening maybe slightly different hexes than I was expecting, but what I was expecting. 2 TPs and 2 dwellings, and I anticipate he'll now build a temple next round. What's interesting is with the Goblins passing first, if they take Earth... That's the one thing about taking Earth 1 here for me, is it does block it from the Changelings, who otherwise would go rampant with it, probably. So... Oh, wow, he went 3 TPs. Now, this is super interesting. Look at this. I didn't even think about this. So, Changelings took the Priest tile to send it to water. Fine, makes sense. Round 1 water reward. But the round 1 water reward is a spade, and he, like, has no use for a spade. Like, what is he going to do with that? I guess he's going to dig F3 to blue, but, like, he doesn't need that hex. It's actually really unfortunate for me. You know what I should have thought of more in the auction was the fact that Changelings, 2 of their colors were my other 2 transformation colors. That was an oversight. That is bad. F3, not to blue, but to gray. Same concept. Okay, I do still think... Well, actually, I could take double dig here. Don't think that's a good idea. Because I can... I mean, the worker's action is like a single dig. Maybe I am supposed to take double dig. Let's see. Temp ship is open. So I do want to pass pretty early. So I could take double dig for D7 or double dig for H6, A6, pass for temp ship, and then hope D7 is still there. And even if it's not a huge deal. I mean, that actually seems like the right move. Gets me some more dwellings down in the dwelling round. Yeah. Keeps it away from anybody else. even though no one else really wants it besides goblins, but they won't get it. But yeah, that's right. We're just gonna do it. It's making up for my lack of workers, right? I mean, Prospectors will probably take D7. But you know what? That's okay, because what I can do is I should just be able... I think I'm going to be able to triple dig F4, single dig F5. And that'll work. I mean, we'll see. Actually, we'll see. Prospectors only have 7 coins. So, I mean, I guess he probably takes the coins action and then has enough, but... No, he took a priest. Oh, no, never mind. That was his bonus tile. See, I'm going to build this other dwelling, and then I'm just going to pass on temp ship. Or actually, well, we'll see. Oh, that's annoying. You took F5 now? Why are you doing that? May not be connecting this game if D7 gets taken. We'll see. Yeah, the coins action still sitting there is definitely surprising. I assume Prospectors take it right now, right? Oh no, he really wanted first priest to Earth, which also makes sense. Actually, you know what else is weird? I didn't even notice. Or no, Changelings did miss Earth 1. Okay, right. Goblins took that. All right. So here's the thing. I want to pass. One sec, y'all. I'm getting a call. Sorry about that. Yes, the sound was off. Had to take a call. I So I went ahead and passed for temp ship because I realized that doing so will likely give me the coins action. And the priest was the other thing I was considering, which would have been interesting if First Priest Earth hadn't been taken. But alas, it was. So the good news is Prospectors didn't take D7. And so now with, I guess actually all of my logic about the coins action is about to go out the window because I'm now going to need to take D7 with my first action since Prospectors didn't take it and Changelings wrapped down here, which means that if I don't get D7, I mean, I guess I could like triple dig F4 and build a bridge, but that is really gross. So we're not going to do that. We might think about actually triple digging H7 and building a bridge and I7, and then this could be a town because that allows this to be two separate towns. I'll have to think about that one. I mean, I've got 8 workers. I want to spend 2 on D7. And then this would be 4. It would be 6 and 7. And I could throw one more on like A7 or something like that. The other option would be I could like dig E2, but I'd have to build there and then try to sneak F3. And I think that just waits because he doesn't have really much incentive to build there anytime soon. Like he wants this gray before he wants this gray. Like that might be there for me to sneak in round 5 actually when I get back up to 2 shipping. What's up, George? Yes, Fire and Ice factions without Fire and Ice scoring. It's the way it goes. So I really want to take these coins, but D7 is very important, and so I unfortunately don't think I can. But that's all right. We're going to have a nice big point digging around, though, which is really nice. We're not going to build that right now. So yeah, actually, I do think the more that I look at this, I think I'm going to dig H7. And then, I mean, I'm connected now, so I don't have to go down over here. But I could also dig H8 as like partial threat on G8 and or just better access if I wanted to eventually go over here. I'd probably ultimately go there from up here and not this way because I'm getting a little bit boxed in, especially if I lose F3. I could always try to take B5. So this is another option. But also now with D7, the good news is Prospectors are likely going to want to come up C5, B6. So if I can just get A7, A8, then this can be a town too. I don't think this is sadly, I don't think this is a stronghold Shamans game. So the Shamans, for those who are not familiar, have an interesting and cool stronghold, which is that when you build it, you can immediately build for free a dwelling on an open ice hexes, 1 per cluster of ice hexes that you have. So like, for example, if I built the stronghold right now, I could just plop a dwelling down right here. The best way to do this is if you like use your shipping to spray out a bunch of individual clusters, then you build the stronghold and you throw them all down. And there's definitely a world and a version of this game where you do that in this round 5 dwelling round, which would be really nice. But given that I think I'm going for 3 towns, I don't think it makes sense this game. Did I talk about E2? I did. I mean, the hex itself is not that useful, so it would only be to like take it to then try to build F3. And so that's what I was saying earlier, is that like if I think F3 is going to stick around, oh man, what are you doing, Changelings? Okay, well, so much for H8, but I am going to go down here and take I7. So yeah, we're going to do this. Or we're going to dig I7. We're not going to build it. But this will be a sanctuary town. Town. And then we'll see what other places we can dig out. But this is carving out pretty nice. Good worker economy. Would love to pass first so I can actually take the coins action next round that I wasn't able to take this round. And then next round we're probably building... Well, we could go ahead and build the Sanctuary for Water 1. It's either Sanctuary or another Temple for Water 1. The Sanctuary is probably better. I could actually finish a town next round here. Yeah, so I think I'm going to throw one spade with this last worker on A7 and then see if I can pass first. And I pass on to either these coins or this ship scoring. Probably the ship scoring. Because after next round, I'll have 2 shipping, so it would be worth 6 points. So that's pretty good. Because the advance at the end of the round comes before you score your passing tile, which is cool. And it's got 3 coins on it, which is great. So Goblins we haven't talked much about. Goblins are close to finishing this town. Guess it won't be this round. He's sitting on 4 X tokens, which is super interesting. Hasn't used them at all. So that's a little scary. Although his worker economy is a little weak. Needs to get some temples up. And then Prospectors almost certainly are not connecting. I mean, I guess they could still theoretically through B5, but looks like that's probably not happening. Changelings are connected. And there finally took Water 1 that he really needed. Oh, Goblins might be trying to steal Water 1 too. Interesting. Didn't think about that. Probably not, though. Like, he cannot... I mean, you never know, but he can't really afford it, I don't think. Does, unfortunately, Goblins are probably passing right here ahead of me. Maybe I should have just passed right there. Yeah, he's not... I don't think he's taking ship scoring. So... Well, he has to either pick... He has to pick between the coins action and Water 1, then, at least. That was probably a mistake. Those 2 points for that 1 dig was probably not worth not passing first there. Now I actually wonder if I should, like, take the workers action or the priest action. No. I don't think so. I think we just pass for cult coins. mean, I guess I'm assuming that the Changelings aren't passing, but I don't think they are. This H9 from the Changelings is actually kind of interesting. Because I don't really know what he's doing with it. Yeah, I can certainly pass on it next round. The issue is passing next round gives it for round 5 because it can get in round 6. It's the only scoring tile, so having it in both of these would have been nice. Workers action and 2 more digs might get me the 6 coin tile. Yeah, that's true. I mean, the 6 coin tile versus the 5 coin tile is not that different. Except obviously then I get the workers. I actually am kind of thinking about that because what would be really cool is if I could build Sanctuary and 2 TPs next round. And I might actually be able to, if I up my, if I use those, if I take the workers and I use 1 as a dig and then also build the dwelling on D7. I actually think that's a good idea now that I'm not passing first. Because the funny thing is I'm not even so sure the goblins are taking the coins action, but I think it's okay. Since I'm, as you said, I'm probably passing on to a coin tile. Because I need 12 coins. I'll have 7. Yeah, I agree, Rondo. I'm kind of gambling that goblins will recognize that Water 1, they can't afford it. It does feel like a bit of a gamble. All right, well, I'll get one of these coin tiles either way now. With Prospectors passing on the Priest, so... The cult game is non-existent in this matchup. A little bit of a push on Earth, and that's it. There's going to be some late game cult points available for cheap. The 2-key town actually could be very worth it here if I build a town next round and no one takes it ahead of me. My temple produces 4 power. I mean, actually, no. Someone mentioned it earlier. Like, the logic is that they don't need priests for shipping or digging, so they shouldn't produce as many priests. But I'd rather have the gap be on the second one than the first one, but that's me. All right, so Changelings pass, so I'm going to get 6 coins, which is fine. I'm going to build this dwelling and then just dig A7. Because 8 workers next round is exactly enough to build Sanctuary and 2 dwellings. Can't afford to build it. And time to pass. All right, so I'm all set up. So as long as goblins don't open Water 1, which I would be genuinely shocked. Like, workers action, double dig, all make a lot more sense. But we will see. Workers action. Prospectors taking coins? No, goes straight for shipping. which means Changelings get coins. Oh my god, no one took the coins action. Why do you tempt me, Temptress? But no, I think actually Water 1 is more important for me than the coins action right now. And now that the goblins took workers, it makes me more afraid that they would take it. And who knows, if they all didn't take it before. Super buddy. What's up? What are my top 3 vegetables? That's a great question. Oh. Well, I'm going to have to gamble on Propsectors not taking A8 right now, which is annoying. What are my top 3 vegetables? In some order, broccoli, Romanesque, which is like a fancy cauliflower, and maybe asparagus, maybe spinach. Let's see. We got a 1 key town, 1 key cult town from the Changelings. That's interesting. Oh my god, this coins action's still here, and now I can finally take it. Coins! That's awesome. Brussels sprouts? I like Brussels sprouts. Burris. I actually do like kale. I wouldn't put it in my top 3, but I do like it. Eggplant is among my bottom veggies. I'm not a big fan of stuff that's very mushy. So eggplant, squash, zucchini, none of that is those are all toward the bottom for me. I've always been a big broccoli guy. I even liked broccoli when I was like a little kid. Also, I don't know if it technically counts as a vegetable, but seaweed is really good when prepared well. Some seaweed salad I don't know, does that count as a vegetable? I don't know. It's really good though. That's true. Eggplant and cucumber, tomatoes, those are all technically fruits. All right, did someone take this 2 key town yet? No. So it might still be there for me. I have to decide if I want it, because I think there's also a decent argument to take workers to protect A8 if the Propsectors don't take it before I get there. Broccoli Rob, that's good. That's a clever one. Very clever. Shiptown from the Goblins. Also a stronghold. That's an interesting choice in a TP round. I guess he wants to use this. We're getting a tall culty goblins game. That has to be what this is, because he's now got 5 X tokens and both big buildings up and almost nothing else. So he can skyrocket up some cults here if he wants. He doesn't realize they're good if you spend them. Yeah. Man, what do we think? I think the odds of the Prospectors stealing 8 from me are not that high. And so I kind of feel like this 2-key town has a lot of value in this game. I won't get the spade from the Earth Spade, sadly, but that's not a huge deal. Don't really need it that badly. I mean, I guess the other option is I could take 2 workers just to build another TP in a TP round, which is also not bad. What favors do Goblins have? I think just Earth 1. No, Earth 1, Earth 2. Oh, right. Sanctuary. Gotta have 2. Oh, George. Crack me up. What do we think? Because the other good thing about a TP is it frees up another dwelling, right? Like, if I build that TP, will I have enough to build 4 dwellings next round? Maybe? Maybe? I actually think it's the worker town. I think that makes more sense than the 2-key right now, even though there's lots of space on the Colts, I can probably claim a good amount of those same points just by sending a couple priests that I don't have to use them for anything else. So I think that's going to be the answer. So it's 5 more points on the town itself. Now another 3 points from building the TP this round, plus that probably enables me to build another dwelling next round. So that's like a 10-point difference. Not to mention the production. We do really have to hope that I don't lose A8 here. Because if I do, I would need 2 bridges, and that becomes a hassle, even though luckily it doesn't look like anyone else really wants a bridge right now. Goblins could potentially end up wanting one ultimately, but hopefully we'll be okay. But we'll see. We'll have to see. Changelings doing a decent job of maxing out this dwelling round. Does look like... Unfortunately, I'm going to get stuck with a not great bonus tile here. I guess worker power with 2 coins on it isn't terrible in what's kind of a low worker setup. Yeah, see, here come the goblin cult steps. assume this is just another TP from Prospectors, right? Especially since they're on their gap. What did he do? Advanced shipping. So he's up to 2. Oh man, maybe he is going to try to connect. Or maybe he's just trying to find a spot for a third town. All right. Time for me to pass. So you know what's funny is that, I mean, I'm like a tiny bit worker type, but not terribly. Like, it actually feels like that Earth 1 has mostly worked out this game. I think mainly because I was able to get double dig in round 1 and round 2. Alan here writes, Black factions on Fire and Ice don't seem very good. Yes, it's a tricky map for Black. Oh yeah, don't grow mint with anything else. Keep it in its own pot. For sure. It's almost garden season again. That has me excited. And what's funny is actually, Goblins here got the thing that makes this map way more playable as Black, which is if you can get this D6, C3 stretch to get a town here. Because otherwise your issue typically is you start on E3, but then you don't have it. You can't build a town. And you want to upgrade there first because it's in the middle where all the action is, but then you ultimately have a very hard time getting a town off of it. You either have to like bridge down here, and G6 often goes to a green faction, or if green's not in the game, then maybe you can do this. But green's very, very frequently in the game on this map because it's so good for them. So, but if you can get this stretch, that works too. But I guess he is like, well, he's not sandwiched. It's brown and then like a third of blue. So I think what I'm going to do... So obviously I'm going to have full power. And my first choice would be the workers action. But I think I'm going to build on A7 first. Because I think then... maybe not. Maybe I'll just take the workers. Well, no, actually, I want to kind of wait until I see whether or not I need 2 bridges. I don't want to take the workers action until I know I don't need a second bridge. So I think I'm just going to build A7 with my first action, and hopefully Prospectors don't counter A8 with their first action. And if they do, then I'm in the clear. But at that point, the workers action probably won't be there, but that's okay. I can build 4 dwellings this round. I think. I can build 4 dwellings this round without. Which is how many I have available. Without the workers action. Especially if I nab F3. It would be A7, A8, I7, F3 are the 4. Otherwise I need 1 more worker to do 1 extra dig. The Goblins also are probably interested in a bridge. Yes, it would only be for a block, but it's a pretty nasty block. And it's only basically an extra dig for him, as opposed to just digging A9 or B8. So, like, if I were him and thinking that as shamans are his major threat for whatever his positioning he thinks he's in, then it would be worth considering. I don't think he's going to do it, but it's not worth the tempo risk. Plus, now if he has an option to take an interesting power action, that might be enough to sway him. So Changeling are going for their third town down here in the southeast. The interesting about that is, yeah, they might still try to connect. If he goes like b5, d4, he's mostly there. He probably gets it then. And the coins action was left to him, so he took it, which is great. So now I can grab a8 and be in good shape. Because having to get that extra bridge and double dig b5 and all of that was just going to be a royal hassle. I am potentially going to have to do either a triple dig or take fire 2 next round, but I guess fire 2 is fine. It's a temple round. What dwelling is Changelings on? He is on gray. That's annoying. Do I really want to gamble? No, I don't. I also would like to get out of this round quickly. Because that ship scoring only scoring tile is unoccupied. So whoever passes first gets that nice bonus. All right, so there's F3 going. So maybe I just build 3 dwellings this round. Maybe I just build I7 and then pass if no one else has passed yet. I think that's going to be the play. Interesting. Prospectors go to E6, so he's not trying to connect. Or at least not aggressively trying to connect. Priest of Water is also pretty interesting right here. Get the priest back plus the 2 steps. Let's see. Both Changelings and Prospectors have bonus tile actions. The Cult Step obviously is one you don't necessarily need to take, but I'd be pretty surprised. I mean, people usually want to build dwellings on the dwelling around. I'd also like to build a bridge, because otherwise then I have to open with it, or risk getting bridge blocked. So not that anyone else needs it. I mean, I'm wondering actually if I risk the bridge here first. I kind of think I'm going to get away with it. I don't think anyone's going to pass. I mean, it's a super valuable pass. There's no doubt about that. But it's either to the bridge now and risk it, or I guess what am I risking it for then, though? It's like a different power action. That's not that valuable. What all do I want to do next round? I'd like to build probably a temple, 2 TPs, and 3 dwellings, something like that. Yeah, I guess I should just pass. Always annoys me passing early. Actually, should I do a worker conversion? No. Actually, maybe. But yeah, 9 points is 9 points, right? And 9 points that someone else isn't getting. Oh, it's got to be more than that. It's got to be a temple. I kind of need to build like 2 temples and 3 TPs. I mean, I might get second on network without building any more dwellings. Goblins only have 7 structures, 8 structures, with an easy path to 9. And Prospectors aren't connecting. So Changelings are going to blow me out anyways. So, like, it kind of doesn't, especially since I have to dig every hex I want to build on. It makes more sense for me to just build temples and TPs. Yeah, it's going to be like 2 temples for fire 2, air 2, and 3 TPs that I score. I mean, I score dwellings too, but not as much. Yeah, I think that's going to be the answer. All right, we'll be right back. Oh, silly leech decisions. All right. So, how do we think we're looking? I think we're looking pretty good. Got the only pass tile. I don't have a lot of cult points, but it looks like we're going to get second on network. Changelings are probably the biggest threat because they've got another town to get, and they're going to win network, and they've got a good amount of extra points. Cult points is the word that I'm looking for there. But he's also running out of stuff to do. Like, he's not going to score that many points from structures next round simply because he's, like, out of stuff. Yeah, it is a beautiful day, Rondo. You can see the sun out my window. I'm going out for a hike as soon as this is over. So, yeah, enjoy the odd February springtime sunny day in Oregon. It's really nice. Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, he's gonna, like, the Changelings next round are gonna build, like, they're gonna get like what 7 points from structures between bonus tiles and favor, or between round tiles and favor tiles. How long of a hike? Today it will only be like, it's like 3 or 4 miles. Pretty short. It's more of it's like a urban-y type hike. There's like this area that there's kind of a mountain type thing like in the middle of the city. And but there's a park on the top and you can kind of hike up. And then we're going to go to the nursery and buy some seeds. As I said, we're getting excited about gardening. But yeah, it's like 52 degrees and sunny here, which is not that common for early February. Summers in Oregon, amazing, absolutely beautiful, but the winters are typically pretty cloudy, so this is nice. You could argue I should be out there right now, not playing Terra Mystica, but eat, sleep, Terra Mystica, right? All right, Prospectors locked up Earth. Goblins still sitting on 3 tokens. Anyways, what I was saying is, so yeah, it looks like Shamans, or not Shamans, that's me. Changelings are only going to get like 7 more structure points probably from building like a temple and a TP next round. Whereas I'm going to get 17, I think. Maybe even more. So that's good. Changelings dug D9 from green to gray. Why? Just because he had nothing else to dig, probably. Let's see. I've got 6 structures on my board left right now. Goblins have 8. Goblins did not advance their digging. So probably are not. Yeah, a cult town would be good for sure. I mean, the Tukey town might still be valuable here, actually. We'll see. We've got to open with the bridge, so we'll do that. And then we'll try to finish this town relatively quickly. And we'll go from there. But I think I have a shot at potentially getting, like, second, third, which is still 10 gold points. It's not terrible for having invested absolutely nothing in it to this point. I mean, Changelings are looking at a solid 20. But if they only beat me by 16 points on endgame scoring, 6 on network and 10 on the cults, then I should have that, because I've got 9 of it made back up just by this pass tile. And I have an extra town on them. Alright, gotta be the bridge. Can't afford to lose that. Changelings would block me in an instant, so we're going to do that. And we'll go from there. Now there is, what I was about to say is there is a chance that Goblins could chase me down on network. I mean, I guess Prospectors could still technically connect. B5 and E2. Which would be kind of bad. I mean, it looks like he's going for another town over here, and he still needs to finish this town too, so I don't think that's happening. I mean, I could dig B5 to ice. It wouldn't be a huge investment, but I'd kind of prefer to not do that until it feels like I need to. So we'll see. Could also dig E2, actually. If he takes one of these, I can take the other one. So maybe that's how we play it. Out of seltzers. That's sad. All right, let's see what Prospectors try to do here. Yeah, see, he's just going to go for his towns, I think. He might need fire too also. Do I need leech? That's a good question. I don't think so. Don't think I do. If I want to build another temple, that's 5, and then 9 is 14 coins. I've got 13, but I'm going to get some on here. It would really only be as if I thought I wanted to build another dwelling, but I also still have 2 towns coming, so I don't think I need that. And I'm going to get this town, which is sweet. So I'm going to take this the 1 key town. I guess it leaves me vulnerable to a little bit to Prospectors taking the 2 key, but I've got some priests to respond with, so let's build this over here. I don't know why Changelings are contemplating this. Can't see how they would possibly be getting these points back. It just doesn't have enough to do. So one of the issues with Changelings is like they can build everything so well, but you can kind of run out of stuff to do by the end of the game, and therefore ways to score points. Ooh, he had to build an expensive TP. That's unfortunate. Air 1 with the next temple, yeah. That is definitely the plan. We'll be doing that right now. And then 2 more TPs. Finish this upper town. It's gone real smoothly. Yeah, it actually has. I mean, the main things that I was worried about were prospectors messing with me on D7 or A8, neither of which happened. And otherwise, yeah, I mostly got to do what I wanted. I guess losing F3 was a little like could have maybe competed on network, but you're probably not competing with changelings on network regardless. So yeah, mostly's been pretty smooth. Oh, prospectors took a coin town. Oh, never mind. He needs to triple dig something. I thought that meant he was maybe trying to sneak this connection. Which no. You will not be doing that. Not that worried about losing Air 1, but just in case. Yeah, I mean, it looks like prospectors, they need a temple and a TP, or sorry, a TP and a dwelling to finish their town. So I guess he can do a power conversion and still have a priest. I was basically trying to think of whether or not he's going to send a priest of fire that I'll have to counter or not. I might have to do it to fight off goblins anyways, because he's still got these 3 X tokens. So Changelings took the 2 key town. That doesn't seem worth it at this point. I guess he closed out water relative to goblins, but even so, even if you count that one as 4, and even if you counted this one as 4, that's still only 8 as opposed to 9 or 11. But to each their own. I guess I could consider sending a priest to Earth now before the changelings do. Yeah, that's probably a good idea, right? Especially now with only 1 town left on the board to be formed, most likely. Just this last prospector town means that I'll still have I can grab a priest town back if I want. Well, Goblin's upgrading over there, so maybe he thinks he can get a town still. Seems like a stretch to me, because he doesn't have fire too. My first priest to a cult, late in round 6. That's not a very Matt style game. For those of you who have been here the whole time, you'll remember that I was contemplating trying to take the priest action to send it to a cult in round 1. Why are they holding their tokens still? Well, at this point, I think the tokens are mostly going to go toward cults, and so they're probably holding them for informational purposes. He's going to need to use one right now to lock down Earth. Or, sorry, air. I don't think that's been an optimal strategy, to be clear, with the tokens. I'm much more an advocate for using them early and snowballing the resource benefit. But goblins also didn't, they didn't go double temple, so they didn't have early options for that. He did have 2 TPs up in round 1, so he could have used them for coins, but this was a more worker type game than coin type game. Oh, interesting. He sent a priest to air instead of using the token. I wonder what he's going to do. I guess he could grab some... Now he can grab some coins with the tokens. He's got 3 of them up, so... And then maybe he can dig. Maybe he can still find a town. Maybe he's planning on taking fire too. There's no worker town left, so I don't think I have to worry about the prospectors connecting. Even though he does have the dwellings, he doesn't have the workers. Well, I guess if he used both priests and that, but no, but he doesn't have the digs then. Prospectors have the leash. Yeah, I mean, it looks like he might be thinking about trying to connect. Again, I will just wait until he tries to take one of these hexes, and then I will block the other one if I need to. It's not optimal, but I do have one extra worker, so I don't then need to do one more. But see, with all those coins, I mean, he would need 16 coins to dig both B5 and E2. He's just not going to have that. So, even if he takes a coin town, right? 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. No, but he would need 20 because he's got to build the dwellings also. It's just not enough. With enough lead, sure, I'm going to give him one more. And that is probably all he's going to get. Changelings are probably going to, like, just advance their digging or something would be my guess. But yeah, he kind of ran out of stuff to do. Yeah, he gave up. Took the 11-point town. So yeah, I think we're going to be pretty good. What's up, Deranged? Yep. Looking pretty good. Looks like a nice Snow Shamans victory. Actually, this might be my first Snow Shaman one. Sorry you're late. It's a stream. You're still being late. It's whatever you want. Yes, you are catching the very end. But look at this. A new vid for the YouTube. It's been a while. I didn't even think about that until right now. I don't even have video for the Fire and Ice factions, but I do have a Selkies game up there. But I don't have a Snow Shamans one. So yeah, this will go up on as the Snow Shamans example game, and if I ever get around, I am gonna do those videos. I'm gonna do videos for the Fire and Ice factions, but I'm gonna wait until they update them. Because it's pretty clear KOE is getting a major overhaul, and I think even Geos, maybe even Changelings, are going to get slightly altered. So I'm going to wait until that happens to do those. But I'll put the game up. Yeah, the Selkies game that I had up there was actually pretty cool. It was Lakes, which is actually oddly a good map for them. That was pretty fun. Okay. So, Prospectors have a priest, so they theoretically might try to chase me down, so I guess this is the best move just in case, and then we'll see what he does, because I could build a dwelling here, which might actually be my best move, because there's an outside chance Goblins go to 11 structures, and the dwelling's worth 2 points. So yeah, I think my next move is just dig build D9, and then that's it. Or you get that. Ugh, silly Changelings. What did he build? Oh, he built a temple. I mean, I guess I could send a priest, but he's also probably just going to build another temple. Oh, he built a sanctuary, which will then allow him to build another temple for points. So that's why he's doing that. Okay. All right, I'm not going to bother trying to chase him then, because he'll just pass me back, probably. I don't even know what he's going to take. Earth 2, probably. But no, I'm just going to build the dwelling. 131 in the bank for Prospectors isn't bad, though. But yeah, see, Goblins dug A2, so... I mean, he's still... Well, how many X tokens? Oh, he still has 2 tokens, so maybe he does have enough to get that town. Might have to take fire, too. Oh, which I guess means he could theoretically pass me on fire. But if I send another priest to fire, then 3... I can't do math. 3 and 3. I don't have enough to build the dwelling. So let's just build the dwelling. He passes me on fire. It only cost me 2 points anyway, so it's the same. Kind of surprised Changelings went that direction instead of... They could have just taken a priest action and upgraded their digging twice. I think that would have been better, but that's okay. Now we get our 9 points that we've been waiting past so early in round 5 for. And we'll be good. It's exactly as I said. 10 cult points, 12 network points. That plus passing in the lead will work. Rough game for the Goblins. It's a little sad to see them not do a little better. Just couldn't find any points, I guess. Oh, yeah. And 4 points for Air 1. Good call. $148, $160, $170? Even, I believe, here. Unless someone passes me on a cult. Nice. Happy with that. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't the, like, best Snow Shamans setup. I mean, they were the 40 faction. I got them for 40. They were the 40 faction. They were pretty clearly the 40 faction. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I was saying right after the auction that I probably, like, overpaid. Like, should have bid the other factions down a little bit more. Hard in hindsight to know whether that was wrong or whether it was actually fine, or whether it was just opponents not optimally playing certain things. But it definitely worked out. Definitely worked out. I was surprised Changelings let me have H6. That was one thing that was a little unexpected. Obviously had no way of foretelling that I would get double dig in both of the first 2 rounds. I think that was really what that set me on the right path. And my mistaken Earth 1 grab, I think in the end actually proved to be the right move, given how things went. Now, you couldn't have necessarily known how things were going to go, but it worked out pretty well. The one thing, the best part about this setup for Snow Shamans was the round 3 digging round. Snow Shamans might be able to take advantage of a round 3 digging round better than any other faction because they get their dig advances for free. And so you can just do those in your first 2, and you don't have... Normally, for any other faction, even a faction like Halflings in a round 3 digging round, you have to invest so many workers to get your digs advanced by the round 3 that you rarely... It's hard to have enough left to then have a big round. But I got, in that round 3 digging round, I think I scored 16 points. I think I did 8 digs. which is pretty good. I mean, I could count it. I did 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I did 8 digs. So, and they're also transforming to ice, which means that it can't get blocked or dug back or anything like that. So, yeah. Shamans obviously can also play quite well in a round 4 digging round. It just means that other digging factions are going to be more equally competitive on that. So, that was nice. Goblins did find this last town. You don't like seeing poor Goblins games. I guess that's a good point, George. They do need to get nerfed, so. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun. And the other thing about the Earth 1 was that then I didn't feel like, in a game that wasn't super high scoring, like the track was medium, but very low bonus tile points. I didn't feel like I needed to build another temple super early. Like I didn't build a second temple until round 6. I did build a sanctuary. But in a relatively depressed scoring environment, that Earth 1 and then just focusing on dwellings, it's pretty good. And I even gave up 4 points by taking Earth 1 after I built my 2 dwellings in round 1, which was, I mean, you could argue that for tempo, I maybe should have built one of them, because I did pass on to the 7 coin tile after round 1, which was super helpful. But you could have had the same tempo if I just build that temple before I build the second dwelling. So I at least would have 2 more points. But it was truly a misclick when I did it. I was really intending to click Earth 2, and I just clicked the wrong tile. But in the end, I think it was actually right. Terra Mystica God's guiding my mouse cursor to where it's actually supposed to go instead of where I'm intending for it to go. All right. Almost done here. It does appear like I am going to lose fire to the Goblins. Oh, enjoy your date, Burris. And thanks. Yeah. Glad you were here. Wonderful. Welcome back. It does look like we won. Got to count out the rest of the points, but it's going to be there. Changelings ran out of steam and Propsectors didn't connect, and those two things combined are gonna make it just fine. Goblins, what are Goblins doing over here? You need to finish your stuff, dude. So we can end the stream. Go outside. This guy's just building more temples. Huh. Gonna be Fire 3, I would imagine. Oh, Fire 3's taken. All right. Temples to get tokens, build more temples. Yeah, it's pretty funny. I agree. He's finally out now. I assume he's going to use that last X token just to pass me on fire. Or tie me on fire and tie Changelings. It's the same either way. If he had advanced his digging, he could build another dwelling and pass Propsectors on network, but not going to do that. Okay, buddy. Don't have that many choices here. So yeah, anyways, I mean, Snow Shamans definitely still think they're on the weaker side, but they're definitely playable. I think that I don't know how I feel about the auto advance mechanic. Like, I think it's reasonably balanced, because you take the points off and then you get them automatically, and that's kind of your trade-off. It does mean that you don't... I don't know how many different strategic lines you have available to you. I mean, like, you can still certainly open different ways. Double dig, double temple. You can go to, you can try to play a little culty, especially if you go double temple and start producing priests. But it does remove some choices. Now, it opens some avenues that aren't available, right? Like round 3 digging, which we were talking about. Yeah. It's just a little different. But that's okay. In some cases, actually, like, the more that I look at it, if you wanted to introduce someone and say, hey, we're going to have you play an ice faction, it's actually a good, like, intro ice faction because it's removed some decisions. As opposed to, like, Yetis, for example, who are kind of a mind-numbing experiment. I mean, they're nothing like fire factions, but just all the power calculations on Yetis are super complicated, and then Ice Maidens are good. I love Ice Maidens, but they're tricky. Optimizing Ice Maidens is not an easy situation, but they do have a much wider decision space, right? Because Ice Maidens, you can advance your digs, you can not advance your digs, you can kind of go tall with the temples, you can spread out. Like, they have a lot more ways to play. Whereas the fact that with Shamans, at the end of round 5, you're going to have both your digging and shipping fully advanced. That's like, because that kind of limits what you're doing. All right, anyways, pulled off the win, so that's nice. Fun game with the Shamans. We'll throw that on the YouTube, and until next time, we'll see y'all later. Hope y'all enjoyed. Oh, the Super Bowl's tomorrow. That's great. Have fun with that. All right, see ya.